Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. On the day of Qiyamah, there will be 4 witnesses against a person. The first witness that will be against a person on the day of Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala says, يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا. That the earth on the day of Qiyamah, it will speak. That whatever we had carried out, whatever actions a person carried out on the surface of the earth, it will inform Allah Ta'ala that a person had carried out this action or that action, whatever it might be, it will inform Allah Ta'ala. So this will be the first witness tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah. The second witness on the day of Qiyamah, Al-Yawma nakhtimu ala afwahim. Allah Ta'ala says, today we will seal their mouths. Person thinks I will be able to speak a lie to Allah Ta'ala. It is impossible. The mouth will be sealed tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah. Al-Yawma nakhtimu ala afwahim wa tukallimuna aydihim. The hands of people, they will speak tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah. وَتَشْهَدُ أَرْجُلُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. And the feet will speak what they had earned. The hand will speak what a person had carried out, what actions he had done with the hand. And the feet will speak where a person had walked towards. So this will be the second strong witness against a person tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah. The third witness on the day of Qiyamah, وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. That all the books will be opened before Allah Ta'ala. Every action that we are doing, it is recorded in the court of Allah. These books, these registers, they will be opened before Allah Ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah. And the fourth witness that we have, كِرَامًا كَاتِبِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. That the angels that are with a person, and يَعْلَمُونَ, they know everything that you do. They are recording everything. All our actions are recorded in the court of Allah Ta'ala. But Allah Ta'ala's mercy, Allah Ta'ala loves this ummah so much. Allah Ta'ala's mercy is so great that a person has to just turn to Allah and ask Allah Ta'ala for forgiveness. It is mentioned Allah Ta'ala makes the malaika forget also. They will forget the action that a person had carried out. Allah Ta'ala will make the earth also forget the action that a person had carried out. Allah Ta'ala will make the hands and the feet also forget the action that has been carried out. And when it comes to the book of deeds, Allah Ta'ala has the full power of telling the malaika that delete it from the book of deeds. But Allah Ta'ala won't tell the malaika delete it. Allah Ta'ala himself, he will delete it from the book of deeds. Why? Tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah, it mustn't be such that the malaika that tell the human being that, oh insan, you are such a great sinner. I did you a favor that I took it out of your book of deeds. Allah Ta'ala didn't even give the malaika that opportunity also. Allah Ta'ala himself, Allah Ta'ala removes it on the day of Qiyamah. So the malaika also don't have a upper hand over us. So great is the rahmat of Allah and the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. Dr. Abdul Haysab Arifi Rahmatullah alayhi, he explains this rahmat of Allah, this mercy of Allah Ta'ala. This is so great on this ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He gives the example of Pakistan. That he says in Pakistan, all the sewer, it is channeled towards the oceans. And everything comes onto the ocean. And on the ocean now all the sewer is lying. But he says that one wave comes from the ocean and all that sewer is then washed away. He says, ask any Mufti the fatwa, ask any Maulana Saheb the fatwa, that what is the masla? Can you go and make wudu in that water of the ocean? 100% your wudu is valid with the water of the ocean. If a person needs a ghusl, he goes and takes a ghusl with the water of the ocean, his ghusl is valid as well. Allah Ta'ala has kept that ability in salt that it cleanses everything, purifies everything. So he says exactly the same. We understand the rahmat of Allah. The rahmat of Allah is so great, it is so great. Just one wave of the rahmat of Allah Ta'ala, it will cleanse a person, it will totally purify a person. As Dr. Abdul Haysab Arifi Rahmatullah, he gives another example of this. He says that once there was a bull and the fly came and the fly sat on the nose of the bull. After sitting for a little while on the nose of the bull, the fly decided to fly away. So before flying away, he told the bull that, listen, make me maaf, that I came and I sat on your nose. So the bull, what did it say to the fly? Na mujhe tere aane ki khabar, na mujhe tere jaane ki khabar. I didn't even know that you came and you sat on my nose. And I didn't even know that you were going. If you didn't speak up, nobody would have known. But now that you spoke up, now I came to know that you came and you are going now. So he says exactly the same way. The rahmat of Allah Ta'ala, like how that fly doesn't even know of the cow doesn't even know of the coming of the fly. Allah Ta'ala's rahmat is so great. Allah Ta'ala just forgives wholesale. And particularly on nights like this, where a person just has to take a few steps and come forward towards Allah Ta'ala, Allah is ready to clear up everything. Dr. Hazrat Mullah Ashraf Ali Tanvi Rahmatullah alayhi, he mentions, Hazrat said that Allah Ta'ala will even be prepared to forgive Shaytaan. Allah would have forgiven Shaytaan also. But there were 3 ayns in Shaytaan. The first ayn that was in Shaytaan, that Shaytaan was an alim. He was the greatest alim on the surface of the earth. The knowledge that Shaytaan had, nobody had that amount of knowledge. He knew even the fine print, the juz'iyat of all the shariats of all the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. He even knew the fine print of it. So he was the greatest alim. Shaytaan, he was the greatest abid also. He made the most amount of ibadah of Allah. He was a jinn, he was not among the malaika. But because he made so much of ibadah of Allah, there isn't a handspan on the surface of the earth where Shaytaan didn't make sajda. Everywhere he made sajda. And that is why Allah Ta'ala elevated him. And Allah Ta'ala brought him to the stage of the malaika. So he was the greatest abid also. And he was the greatest arif also. What we say arif billah. For the pious people we say he is arif billah. That he has recognized Allah Ta'ala. He was the greatest arif. He knew Allah Ta'ala so well. That at the time when he was kicked out of Jannah, at that time also he knew that Allah Ta'ala won't be overpowered by his anger. So at that time also he came back to Allah. And he said, Allah, andirni ila yawmi yub'athun. Give me some respite. Give me time till the day of Qiyamah. Don't give me death until the day of Qiyamah. And Allah Ta'ala accepted. Allah Ta'ala says, you have been given respite till the day of Qiyamah. So he was given respite. But one ayn he didn't have in him. And that is the ayn of ishq. He didn't have the love of Allah Ta'ala. If only he had that love of Allah Ta'ala. He had that ishq of Allah Ta'ala. When Allah Ta'ala said that, oh Shaytaan, make sajda, Shaytaan would have immediately made sajda. And if he didn't make at that time, he would have regretted after that. He would have come back to Allah Ta'ala. And he would have told Allah Ta'ala that, Wallah, I made a mistake. I'm now prepared to make sajda to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. But he didn't have that love for Allah, so he didn't make sajda to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. So this ishq, this love of Allah Ta'ala, this is a very, very great thing. When Shaytaan, he had misled Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Hawa alayhi salatu wasalam, and he made them eat from the forbidden tree. At that time when Allah Ta'ala asked Hazrat Adam and Hawa alayhi salatu wasalam, Alam anhakuma antilkuma shajara. Did I not stop the two of you from that tree? Did I not tell you that don't eat from this tree? Wa aqul lakuma inna shaytana lakuma aduwwun mubin. Did I not tell the two of you that Shaytaan is a clear enemy? Adam alayhi salam, what did they say? And Hawa alayhi salam, what did they say? Rabbana dhalamna anfusana. See how they lowered themselves. That love of Allah Ta'ala was in them. They said, oh Allah, we oppressed ourselves. We did a great injustice. We did a great wrong, oh Allah. Wa in lam taghfir lana. If you don't forgive us, Allah. If you don't have watarhamna, if you don't have mercy on us, Ya Allah, lanakunanna min al-khasirin. We are losers, oh Allah. We have no other door to go to. So they turn to Allah Ta'ala. That is why Mashayikh have written. They say that when we make tawbah to Allah, when we turn to Allah Ta'ala, read this dua. Rabbana dhalamna anfusana. Wa in lam taghfir lana watarhamna lanakunanna min al-khasirin. And tell Allah Ta'ala that Allah, you forgave my great grandfather Adam alayhi salam because of this dua. Allah, you forgive me also because of this dua. So they had the love of Allah. And Shaytaan, when he was asked, Ma mana'aka Allah tasjuda is amartuk. Why didn't you make sajda? What did he say? Ana khayrun min. He had pride. He didn't have that love of Allah Ta'ala. So he was rejected forever and forever. Ulama have written, they say, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu man yartadda minkum an dini. Fasawfa ya'ti Allahu biqawmin yuhibbuhum wa yuhibbuna. That person, those people of Iman, whoever becomes murtad, that person that turns away from the deen of Allah Ta'ala, Allah is independent, Allah doesn't need us. If Allah Ta'ala blesses us, it's Allah's kindness on us. Allah Ta'ala says, whoever turns away from his deen, فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ. Allah will soon bring another nation. And this nation will be such, يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَ. Allah will love them and they will love Allah Ta'ala. So what they will have the ishq of Allah. They will have the love of Allah Ta'ala in their heart. When a person will have the love of Allah Ta'ala in his heart, from this verse the ulama explain, he won't become murtad. He'll never ever turn away from the deen of Allah. Why? Because he's got the love of Allah Ta'ala in his heart. Secondly, ulama explain from this verse that a person that becomes murtad, he turns away from his deen, he's got a bad end. He's got a bad death. If he doesn't make tawbah, he doesn't sort out his life, whilst he's got the opportunity, his end is going to be very bad. And that person that's got the love of Allah Ta'ala, he won't have that bad death. Allah Ta'ala will keep him safe. He'll have a good death also. But Allah Ta'ala explained what are the qualities of those people that have this love of Allah. 4 qualities Allah Ta'ala mentioned thereafter. The first quality, adillatin ala al-mu'mineen. That those that are the lovers of Allah Ta'ala, they are very, very soft to the believers. The mu'mineen, the believers, they love them. They are very, very soft. They are very, very kind towards the mu'mineen. A'izzatin ala al-kafirin. And they are very, very hard against the kafirin and the disbelievers. This is the second quality that they have. The third quality that they have, yujahiduna fi sabilillah. They make jihad in the path of Allah. Either they make jihad, one tafsir is for the upliftment of the deen of Allah Ta'ala. So they make jihad for this reason. Or the other reason is this, الَّذِينَ اِخْتَارُوا الْمَشَقَّةِ. They are those people that choose mashaqqa. They go through difficulty. فِي امْتِثَالِ أَوَامِرِ اللَّهِ. In fulfilling the command of Allah. That they feel hard to fulfill the command of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, but they go through difficulty. They say, no, we will fulfill the command of Allah. Or الَّذِينَ اخْتَارُوا الْمَشَقَّةِ فِي الْإِنْتِهَاءِ عَنْ مَنْهِيَاتِنَا. Or they choose difficulty, they choose hardship in stopping themselves from disobeying Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So this is the jihad that they make in the path of Allah. When they go through this difficulty in obeying Allah ta'ala and staying away from the disobedience of Allah, what Allah ta'ala gives them in return? وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Allah ta'ala opens up paths and paths for them, ways upon ways for them. What ways? To reach Allah ta'ala. And when a person, the path is open for him, the road is open for him, now he goes on that path and he reaches Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. What has he got? وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala is with that person. And that person that got Allah ta'ala forever, his dunya is sorted out. That person, his akhirat is sorted out. So this love of Allah ta'ala is a great thing. So this is the third quality of those that have the love of Allah. And the fourth quality of those people that have the love of Allah, وَلَا يَخَافُونَ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ. They don't fear the criticism of those people that criticize. People say that you're a man from the camel ages. You're a terrorist. You're a fundamentalist. You can call us whatever you want to call us. We don't fear the criticism of anyone. We will follow the Quran. We will follow the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the lovers of Allah have these four qualities. So Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala would have forgiven Shaytaan also, only if he had this quality of the ishq of Allah, of the love of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Mawlana Thanwi rahmatullahi alayhi has written, he says many a time a person thinks it's impossible that I cannot give up sins, I cannot leave the disobedience of Allah. Hazrat Thanwi rahmatullahi alayhi says in Kamalat Ashrafiyya, in his kitab, he writes, he says, number one, every person has got courage. And the courage that you have, use that courage to stop the disobedience of Allah. Every person has got courage. Nobody can say that I don't have the courage. So number one, use the courage. Number two, he says make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Oh Allah, you give me the tawfiq. You give me the ability to give up that sin. One, we will use our courage. Number two, we will use the tawfiq. We will ask Allah Ta'ala to give us tawfiq to give up that sin. And the third thing, Mawlana Thanwi rahmatullahi says, go to some buzrug, go to some pious person and ask the pious people to make dua for you. It works wonders, really it works wonders. When we have a problem, if we're feeling difficult to go there, today it is so easy. Today we've got the email, today we've got WhatsApp. If they don't have WhatsApp, use the email. Just send one email. Tell them that this is a problem that I have. Just make dua for me. One dua that they will make for you, our work will get done inshallah in no time. Allah Ta'ala has actually taught us, we'll mention one or two incidents, but before we go there, Allah Ta'ala himself has taught us how we should make tawbah to Allah. What dua we should make for Allah Ta'ala. So in the Quran Sharif, Allah Ta'ala taught us, wa'afu anna waghfir lana warhamna. If we translate it, wa'afu anna, forgive us. If we say waghfir lana, also we come to the same translation, forgive us. But there is a deeper meaning to all these words. Allama Alusi Baghdadi rahmatullahi in his tafsir Ruhul Ma'ani, he says, what is wa'afu anna? He says, when we saying wallah, wa'afu anna, Allah forgive us, we are saying umhu athara zunubina, that all the effects of my gunas, wallah, you wipe it out completely, that even the effect of my guna doesn't remain. We have a completely clean slate tomorrow on the day of Qiyamah. So we're making this dua, wa'afu anna, wallah, you forgive us. The second dua, we are saying waghfir lana. So here Allama Alusi Baghdadi rahmatullahi says that how must Allah Ta'ala forgive us? Bisatril qabi wa idharil jameel. That the evil that we have done, the wrong that we have done, the wrong that we have done, Allah, you cover it up, you conceal it, Ya Allah. Nobody must come to know of the wrong that I have done. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is sattar. Allah Ta'ala can conceal anything for a person. So Allah Ta'ala must conceal the evil. Wa idharil jameel. And the beautiful good actions that we carry out, Allah expose this amongst the people. How many buzrugs they were in the past, what lives they had. But when they made tawbah to Allah Ta'ala, they became the beloved of Allah. Today we don't talk about the evil. If we talk about the evil, it is just to take a lesson that every person has hope. That is why we speak about the evil. But in reality we are saying rahmatullah alayh. Allah Ta'ala full day qabaz with nur. These are the words that we use for these people. How did it happen? Bisatril qabi wa izharil jameel. And the third, warhamna, we make dua to Allah Ta'ala, oh Allah, have mercy on us. What is the mercy of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala? Allama Alusi Baghdadi rahmatullahi alayhi, he writes, تفضل علينا بفنون الآلاء مع استحقاقنا بأفانين الإقام. Oh Allah, you shower your favors upon us. تفضل علينا بفنون الآلاء, with various ni'mas. Ala is the jama, is the plural. unlimited bounties you shower upon us, O Allah. We did wrong, we broke your command, but Allah, you shower your rahmat on us, your mercy upon us. In spite of us being worthy, in spite of us being worthy, bi'afanin al-iqab, of various types of punishment. Here again, the plural has been used. That not be worthy of one type of punishment, various types of punishment. Wallah, you remove those punishments and you shower your rahmat and your mercy upon us. Mawlana Thanvi rahmatullahi alayhi mentioned, the rahmat of Allah, warhamna. The rahmat of Allah Ta'ala is four things. Number one, Mawlana Thanvi rahmatullahi alayhi said, tawfiq ta'at. The ability to obey Allah. When a person, he breaks the command of Allah Ta'ala, he was enjoying himself in tahajjud namaz. Now he can't even wake up for tahajjud namaz. Why? You broke the command of Allah. When he was reading Quran Sharif, he was enjoying his Quran Sharif. But when you broke the command of Allah, the sweetness, the enjoyment of that tilawat, that is gone. A person that was making dhikr, now he doesn't get that enjoyment in dhikr anymore. Why? You broke the command of Allah. Allah Ta'ala took the sweetness away from a person. How many people complain? They come and tell us also. They say that we made a mistake in our life. We reached such a stage in our life that to sit 15 minutes, 20 minutes for the Jummah bayan, it became impossible. We don't want to even sit in the masjid. We're waiting, when can Jummah come to an end so we can leave the masjid. So Allah Ta'ala takes away that tawfiq. But when the rahmat of Allah Ta'ala will come back, tawfiq ta'at, the tawfiq and the ability to obey Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, that will come again. By making this dua, Allah will give a person that again. The second thing, faraghi ma'isha. Allah Ta'ala will give him unlimited risk, unlimited sustenance. When the rahmat of Allah will come, the doors of rosy will open for a person. Today, all the difficulties we're going through in the world, where problems upon problem, hardly you repair one area and there's another problem that has come about. You hardly repair the second problem and there's a third problem. The finance and the money is just going and going. Why? There's no barakat, because of the disobedience of Allah Ta'ala. Mufti Desai Saheb rahmatullah alayhi, some years ago he came to Azharville and he had a program. It was the occasion of a jalsa. So he explained one incident. He said that there was one person that was in Durban, perhaps many years ago this must have been. So he says this person, he was a multi-millionaire at that time. At that time he had so much of wealth. So one day he phoned Mufti Saheb and he said, I want a meeting with you. So Mufti Saheb finally said, no problem, come, I'll give you a meeting. So he went for a meeting. Perhaps he was working at that time in the Jamiyat, the KZN Jamiyat. So he went there. When he went for the meeting, a multi-millionaire, he said that this is the last 2 rand that I have in my pocket that I've used to make this phone call. He said, Allah Ta'ala gave me so much. The businesses that I had, thriving, flourishing businesses. He says, I was doing so well. He couldn't give anyone an appointment. He was doing so well. But when he started breaking the commands of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when he got involved in haram relationship, then this was the result that gradually, it doesn't happen immediately. Allah Ta'ala still gives rope to a person, but gradually the rosy starts decreasing. He came to the stage, this was the last 2 rand in his pocket that he phoned to get that appointment. But when a person makes this dua, waqfir lana, warhamna, wallah, you shower your mercy upon us. Mawlana Thanvi rahmatullahi says, faraghi ma'isha. Allah will once again start opening the doors of risk for you. Allah will again give you from His unlimited khazain and treasures. So this is the second meaning of the rahmat of Allah. Faraghi ma'isha. The third, be-hisab maghfirat. Without any reckoning, without any account, Allah Ta'ala will make our maghfirat. Allah Ta'ala will forgive us. Allah is kind. Allah is looking for an excuse just to forgive us. So, faraghi ma'ishat, be-hisab maghfirat. And the fourth one, dukhul jannat, a person will enter into Jannat. Now understand from here, how great is the dua of the pious servants of Allah. Just go to them, just tell them, make dua. Many a time we feel shy. We say, how can I tell him that I've done this wrong? If you don't want to tell him, make one phone call. Send that email, don't send your name. Just make that phone call and say, make dua for me. They won't even ask you your name. And really, even if you go before them, they will respect you, they will honor you. This man is genuine. He came, he's saying that I got a problem. He came to take du'as. The du'as will come out of their heart for them. It is mentioned that Khaja Azizul Hasan Sahib Madzub rahmatullahi. Khaja Sahib rahmatullahi, he was a government official. And in those days in India, when people didn't even have their own cars, he was driven around. He had a driver and he was driven around as well. So Allah Ta'ala had really blessed him. So Khaja Sahib rahmatullahi, he went to Mawlana Thanvi rahmatullahi, and he stayed in the company of Mawlana Thanvi rahmatullahi. In the company of Mawlana Thanvi rahmatullahi, it had such an effect on Khaja Sahib that Khaja Sahib became a great wali of Allah Ta'ala. When Mufti Shafi Sahib rahmatullahi, the Grand Mufti of Pakistan, when he would be seated there, and Khaja Azizul Hasan Sahib Manzoor Rahmatullahi would be seated there, Mufti Shafi Sahib Rahmatullahi wouldn't speak, he would keep quiet. Yet Khaja Sahib was not an alim, he was a normal person, a government official. But Mufti Shafi Sahib had so much of respect for Khaja Sahib Rahmatullahi that he wouldn't speak. So one day, Jigar Muradabadi Rahmatullahi, he met Khaja Azizul Hasan Sahib Manzoor Rahmatullahi. So Jigar Sahib, he was a drunkard. He used to drink a lot of alcohol. So he saw Khaja Azizul Hasan Sahib Rahmatullahi, he got a beard, he's dressed according to Sunnah. He said, how you got all this? How you changed your life? So he said, I went in the company of Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. He said, Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullahi. So he said, I also want to go there. But on one condition, I don't leave my bottle. Wherever I go with my bottle. So Khaja Sahib told him, see, I don't know, let me go and find out from Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi first, whether he will allow you to come there with your bottle or not. So he went to the Khanka, he went to Thanabon. When he went to Thanabon, he met Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. So he asked Hazrat, he said that Jigar Muradabadi wants to come here. But he's a drunkard, so he wants to come with his bottle. So Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi said, see, the Khanka is a public place. All the people are coming here to the Khanka. So I can't allow him to come to the Khanka. But if he wants, he can stay at my house. We can keep a kafir at our house also. We can host the kafir, no problem whatsoever. We can feed the kafir also in our home. So he said, if he wants to come with his bottle, then I'll keep him at my house, but not in the public place. So he went back to Jigar Muradabadi. He told him that you are allowed to come. Mullah Thanvi gave permission. But you can't come with your bottle in the Khanka. You can stay at the home of Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. So he said, okay, when you're going to Thanabon, then take me. I also want to come to Thanabon. So he went to Thanabon. When he went to Thanabon, he went into the Khanka of Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullahi. He just saw Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. Just saw him. Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi's gaze fell on Khajasa, on Jigar Muradabadi. When his gaze fell on him, Jigar Muradabadi just asked for 3 du'as. He told Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullahi, Hazrat, make 3 du'as for me. So he said, what du'as do you want? What is your need? So he said, the first need that I have, he said, this problem that I got, I can't stop drinking. So he said, this I must stop. I must completely stop drinking. This is the first need that I have. He said, what's the second need? He said, the second need is, I don't have a Shari'i beard. Perhaps he had a small beard, but I don't have a Shari'i beard. A Shari'i beard is where the fist, what is the size of the fist of a person, on every side of the beard, it must be equivalent to the fist. What is over and above the fist, that must be cut off. So a person must hold his beard on all sides. And what is over the fist, that must be cut off. If it is less than that, then a person is sinful. To such an extent that our Shaykh explained that this is such a guna that a person, for example, is making tawaf of Baytullah. But whilst making tawaf of Baytullah, the beard has been trimmed. It is a very short beard, or what we call pencil beard, very short beard. It's not a fist length. So even though he's in ibadat, but he's in guna because it's not a fist length. Or a person is in namaz, so he's in ibadat but he's in guna. Why? Because the beard has been cut less than a fist length. So he said, make dua to Allah Ta'ala. He was a drunkard, but he said, make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala gives me a Shari'i beard. So that was the second dua. Then he said that, what's your next dua? So he said, the third dua make for me, Allah Ta'ala takes me for Hajj. So he just saw Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. He put his request for 3 duas and he left Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi and he went away. It is mentioned Allah Ta'ala gave him tawfiq. What was the effect of the dua of Mullah Thanvi? One, he was genuine. And secondly, he went for the dua of Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. So it is mentioned that he stopped drinking. Automatically, he just stopped drinking one day. When he stopped drinking, he got very, very sick. So they took him to the hospital, they took him to the doctors. The doctor said that you were drinking. So he said yes. So he said, now what? So he said, now I've stopped drinking. So he said, you can't stop drinking like this. If you're going to stop like this, you're going to die. So he said, and so what must I do? So they said that you need to cut down little by little by little. So he said, if I cut down little by little by little, what is going to happen? What's the consequence of this? What is the result of this? So the doctor said, you're going to live longer. So he said, for how long? How much longer? So they said, maybe 2 years, 3 years, you're going to live longer. So he said, I rather die now, and this in the obedience of Allah Ta'ala, than living few more years in the disobedience of Allah Ta'ala. See the tawfiq, the dua of the pious people, how it helps a person, how it assists a person. When we go and sit in the company of the pious people, really we don't know the value of these things. But the ulama have written, the mashayikh have written, that person that sits in the company of pious, even though he might still be in some guna, in some sin, but at the end of his life when he's leaving the world, there is hope that that person will leave with iman. Allah Ta'ala will protect the iman of that person. That is why once Mufti Shafi Sahib Rahmatullahi, he came to Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi. So that was his share. So he told Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullahi that there's a poem. And what is the poem? Yak muddat ba sohbate awliya behtar as-sad sala ta'at beriya. That you sit for one moment, yak muddat, just a little while, ba sohbate awliya, in the company of the friends of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. This is better than sad sala, 100 years ibadat and obedience of Allah Ta'ala, just for a moment to come and sit there. This is better than 100 years ibadat. So he asked Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullah, Hazrat, how can this be correct? A man made 100 years ibadat, and you are saying he came and sat for a little while in the company of some friend of Allah. This is better than 100 years ibadat. Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullah said that this is under exaggeration. This is under exaggerated. That Mufti Shafi Saheb Rahmatullah thought it's over exaggerated, because the poets, when they write poetry, they many a times over exaggerate things. If they like you, they'll put you above the heavens also, and if they hate you, they'll put you under the ground. So he thought that it is over exaggerated. Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullah said this is under exaggerated, and he said yak muddat ba sohbate awliya behtar az lakh sala ta'ate beriya. That one moment you spend in the company of the friends of Allah Ta'ala, this is better than 100,000 years of ibadat of Allah Ta'ala. Why? Because in your ibadat that you make on your own, there's no guarantee you're going to leave the world with iman. But when you stay in the company of the friends of Allah Ta'ala, there is hope, inshallah. At the time of death, a person will leave the world with iman. Imam Razi Rahmatullah was a very, very great imam. Imam Fakhruddin Razi Rahmatullah was a great imam. He wrote a great kitab of Tafsir Kabir. Perhaps 20-30 volumes of this tafsir he had written. When he was passing away, he wrote 100 proofs of the existence of Allah Ta'ala. But at the time when he was passing away, Shaytaan came. And Shaytaan, as I said, he is the greatest alim. There isn't a greater alim than Shaytaan. The 100 proofs of Imam Razi Rahmatullah, he broke every proof of Imam Razi Rahmatullah. At the time of his death, when he's dying, Shaitan doesn't leave a person. He tackles him at that time also. So he broke every proof of Imam Razi Rahmatullah. And he told Imam Razi, now what proof have you got? I've broken, I've given you an answer for every proof. So at that time, Allah Ta'ala inspired his sheikh. His sheikh was making wudu at that time. So whilst he was making wudu, they were pouring water with the lota. So he took the lota and he threw the lota. And he said, oh Razi, from there he said, oh Razi, that inko jawab do, कि मैं बगैर दलील से मानता हूँ, that I believe in Allah Ta'ala without any proof. I believe there is one Allah. I don't need proof to believe in Allah Ta'ala. And this is what he told Shaitan, and he left the world with iman. So see, when a person stays in the company of Ahlullah, in the company of the friends of Allah Ta'ala, this will help a person at the time of death. So this is the first thing that happened. Allah Ta'ala gave him the tawfiq to stop drinking. The second thing that happened, that Allah Ta'ala gave him the tawfiq of going for Hajj also. And Jigar Muradabadi Rahmatullah then started to keep the beard. But before the beard started growing, it takes time before the beard actually grows. So he wrote one poem. And he said, Chalo, dekh aaye tamasha jigar ka, suna hai ke wo kafir Musalman ho gaya. Come, let's go see the entertainment of jigar. That we heard that kafir has become a Muslim now. Now he has come onto the obedience of Allah Ta'ala. So one day, Jigar Muradabadi Rahmatullah, the beard still hadn't grown full as yet. So one day he was in Bombay or wherever it must have been, and there was a rickshaw. So he got into the rickshaw. When he got into the rickshaw driver now, he's saying poetry. So what he's saying, Chalo dekh aaye tamasha jigar ka, suna hai wo kafir Musalman ho gaya. Now who told him that poem? Allah alone knows how he came to know that poem. And Jigar Muradabadi heard this. He's sitting in the back here. He started crying. He said, Ya Allah, that this is your favor. I'm still in your disobedience. My beard hasn't grown full. Yet look at this person is already praising me. But actually when a person, he makes tawbah. His beard is not a shari'i length. And he makes tawbah to Allah. And he says, now I'm going to grow a full beard. The moment he makes tawbah, he's out of guna. Now it's just a matter of letting it grow. It hasn't grown full as yet. But now no guna on him. Why? He has made tawbah, he has made niyat that I want it to grow to the full length, according to the sunnah of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So here also the dua of Mullah Thanvi Rahmatullah, how far it took him. I will just conclude one last incident. There was, which Mullah Jalaluddin Rumi Rahmatullah writes in his Masnawi Sharif. Mullah Rumi Rahmatullah has written that there was a person by the name of Nasu. Now this Nasu, the features that he had, the face of Nasu, was like a female. If you have to look at him, nobody will make out that it's a male. His features were such, Allah Ta'ala made him such that he looked like a female. So because he looked like a female, he took advantage of the situation. So he went to the royal palace and he looked for a job at the royal palace. So they gave him the job. They said, your job is to massage the women of the palace and to bath them, to massage them, to do all that. That is your job. Because they assumed that this is a female. But in his heart he had regret that what I'm doing is wrong, I'm taking advantage, I am now taking pleasure from this, and this is totally haram. So he had a lot of regret in his heart, but because he enjoyed doing it, he couldn't come out of this guna as well. So he continued. So one day it is mentioned that one buzruk was passing. So when this buzruk was passing, he was crying, Nasu was crying. So Buzurg asked him, what's wrong? Why are you crying? What's the problem? So he said that I got the disease, I got the illness. And I don't have the cure to the disease, I don't have the cure to the illness. So the Buzurg told him, he said, what you do is you read 2 rakats namaz and make dua to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Allah will cure you from that illness of yours. So he read 2 rakats namaz and he was emotional at that time. What sincerity the dua must have come out of his heart. With such sincerity he made dua to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. After he made dua to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, it is mentioned that shortly thereafter he went back to his evil. Sometimes Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala brings problems in a person's life. Now he wonders where this problem came about, and it's a terrible problem. But why did the problem come? The problem actually came because Allah Ta'ala wanted to pull you to Him. So you rectify your life. Now you'll give up all that wrong, you go to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So the same thing happened here. The queen at that time, she lost her necklace. So the necklace that she lost was worth millions. It was worth billions. So when that necklace was lost, they looking for the necklace, they can't find it. So the queen gave the decree. What did she say? That all the female workers that are working in the palace, take off their clothes and look for the necklace. Now there was danger. He wasn't a female, he was a male. And if they're going to find out that this person came and deceived the woman of the royal palace, for him is the death sentence. And how they will get him killed? They will dig the earth. They will put him half up to the chest, they will put him into the ground. And they let the dogs loose on him. And the dogs will rip him apart. They will kill him in that way. So he started crying, Ya Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, you protect me. Oh Allah, please forgive me. Oh Allah, you are the most loyal. I am the person that is totally unloyal. Oh Allah, you are most kind, oh Allah. Oh Allah, I am the most insincere person. Oh Allah, if you protect me today, I will never ever do this wrong ever again in my life. At that time, he sincerely cried to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. There were 3 ladies that were before him. And then was Nasu's turn that they had to take him and remove his clothing. And in this way he was crying with sincerity. It had such an impact on his heart that he fell unconscious. When he fell unconscious, while they were still looking, still searching the others, they found the necklace somewhere. So the necklace came out. When the necklace came out, look at this on his sincerity, what Allah Ta'ala gave him. Those women of the palace, they don't know that this is a male. They think he is a female. They came to him with fragrance and they revived him. Again, when he got up, he was revived. They're asking him for maaf. They say, we're very sorry. You are an honest man. You're honest woman. You didn't do anything wrong. This was lost. We have found this. Now you continue. Whatever job you were doing before this, you continue. But when he fell unconscious, at that time, Allah Ta'ala showed him Jannat also. Allah Ta'ala showed him Jahannam also. All this was shown to him in his dream. When he got up from there, immediately when they told him that, come, you continue with your work. He said, now I don't want to do this work anymore. I saw Jannat also. I saw Jahannam also. Now I want to change my life. That Buzruk that passed by and told him that you read 2 rakats of namaz and you turn to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, he went in search of that Buzruk. He found that Buzruk. When he found him, he stayed in the company of that Buzruk. And thereafter Allah Ta'ala raised him, he became the friend of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So dua of awliya, dua of the friends of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, this will have a great impact in the life of a person. No person is a write-off whatsoever. So sincerely a person goes to Allah, the doors of Allah Ta'ala open. But if we need to sort our matters out also. For example, where it comes to hukukul ibad, like we've done today after Asr, that where there's hukukul ibad, for example, a person hasn't paid the inheritance of somebody, then he has to sort out that matter. He must pay the inheritance of somebody. If a person, he has usurped the wealth of somebody, for example, he was buying on account and he hasn't paid the creditors as yet, he must go and pay the creditors, go and make arrangement. Or if you don't have the money, go ask them for maaf, so that your matter is sorted out. Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala can forgive a person. There were emails that we had in the past where people asked us that we're flying in the aeroplane, and in the aeroplane they provide blankets for you when you're traveling long distance, for example, overseas travel. So many people, they write sometimes, they say that the blanket we took from the aeroplane, was it permissible for us to take that blanket or not permissible? Obviously it's not permissible. They gave you to use it on the aeroplane. When you leave the aeroplane, you're supposed to have left it over there. But now you have taken the blanket. Now a person is worried, how am I going to pay them? So it's very simple. You don't even have to give your name. Just put the money into their account and that matter is also sorted out. There was one lady that sent an email. Now she must be much older, maybe over 40 years old. She says, in my school days, there was a shop that was just down the road from us. From that shop, we used to go and steal chocolate. So she said that now the shop has closed down. What do we do now? So the actual masla is supposed to go and look for the owner. But you can't trace the owner, you can't trace anybody. What do? So on behalf of that owner, that amount of money, we give it to a poor person. And that will be sadaqah for that owner. But if the owner or the inheritors of the owner are found later on, then that will be sadaqah for you. You have to now repay them as well. You have to give them the money. So we should try and sort all these matters out and then make tawbah to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and Allah ta'ala is ready to forgive us. Allah ta'ala give me tawfiq, Allah ta'ala give all of us tawfiq, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. فاذكروني أذكركم أنا جليس من ذكرني. दिल मेरा हो जाए एक मैदान हो, तू ही तो हो, तू ही तो हो, तू ही तो हो, और मेरे तन में बजाए आब वगिल. दर्द दिल हो, दर्द दिल हो, दर्द दिल गैर से बिल्कुल ही उठ जाए नजर. तू ही तो आए नजर देखो जिधर. ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, 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 ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. इलाही दिल में मेरे खैर का असर न रहे, सिवाय तेरे किसी पर मेरी नज़र न रहे. तो कर बेखबर सारी खबरों से मुझको, इलाही रहूं एक खबरदार तेरा. ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, 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 ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. इलाही आता हो दर्रे दर्द दिल के, मरता है बेदर्द बीमार तेरा. कोई तुझसे कुछ कोई कुछ चाहता है, मैं तुझसे हूँ या रब तलबगार तेरा. नहीं दोनों आलम से कुछ मुझको मतलब, तू मतलूब मैं हूँ तालिब तेरा. उठा गम रकुमीद इमदाद हक से, तुझे गम है क्या. ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, 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 ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. कोई मुझसे पूछे मैं क्या मांगता हूँ, मैं अपने खुदा से खुदा मांगता हूँ. वो हो जाए मेरा, मैं हो जाऊँ उसका, यही रात दिन में दुआ मांगता हूँ. अता कर दे वो मुझको अपनी मोहब्बत, मैं उसके सिवा कुछ और नहीं मांगता हूँ. नाराज़गी जिसकी दोज़ख से बढ़कर, उसी ज़ात की बस रिदा मांगता हूँ. असल मुझे दुनिया की ख्वाहिश नहीं, मैं बख्शिश बरोज़े जज़ा मांगता हूँ. ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, 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 ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. यार या रब तू मेरा और मैं भी तेरा यार हो. मुझको फ़क़त तुझसे हो मोहब्बत, खल्क़ से मैं बेजार हो. हर दम ज़िक्र फ़िक्र में तेरे मस्त रहूं सरशार हो. होश रहे न मुझको किसी का तेरा मगर होशियार हो. अब तो रहे बस दादम आखिर विरद ज़ुबाए मेरे इलाह. ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, 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 رسول الله صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. نعرہ مستانہ خوش می آئے دم تابد جانا چنی می بائے دم. اللہ جل جلالہ تعالی شانہ. اللہ 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 کیسا پیارا نام ہے, عاشقوں کا مینا اور جام ہے. اللہ 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 اللہ. ایچه شیرین است نام, شیر و شکر می شود جانم تمام. اللہ 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 اللہ. اپنے ملنے کا پتا کوئی نشان تو بتا دے مجھ کو اے رب جہاں. اللہ 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 اللہ. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. الله 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 جل جلاله. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله ولك الملك كله وإليك يرجع الأمر كله. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وكلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار. اللهم طهر قلوبنا من النفاق وأعمالنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب وأعيننا من الخيانة فإنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور. اللهم توفنا مسلمين والحقنا بالصالحين غير خزايا ولا مفتونين. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وارض عنا وتقبل منا وأدخلنا الجنة ونجنا من النار. أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وسكنهم في الجنة. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وروحهم في الجنة. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وأدخلهم في الجنة. اللهم اجعل قبورهم روضة من رياض الجنة. اللهم اجعل خاتمتنا على الإيمان. اللهم اجعل خاتمتنا على الإيمان. اللهم ارزقنا شهادة في سبيلك واجعل موتنا في بلد حبيبك صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم بارك لنا في الموت وفيما بعد الموت. اللهم لا ملجأ ولا منجأ من الله إلا إليك. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم رسولا ونبيا. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات وتقضي لنا بها جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك على الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات إنك على كل شيء قدير. جزى الله عنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم بما هو أهله. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.